Part 1, Chapter 1. The novel opens with a cold, chilly day as Winston walks into his London apartment, which is at Victory Mansions. The house is a dilapidated structure, and Winston Smith, a frail 39 years old man, struggles to climb up the stairs to his apartment because he has a varicose ulcer above the right ankle. To make matters worse, the elevator is out of use, either for one reason or the other. On the walls of each floor, he is followed by the eyes of the face of a man of about 45 with a heavy mustache and ruggedly handsome features, generally known as Big Brother. And under the giant poster is written the inscription, Big Brother is watching you. Winston Smith is an unimportant official within the party. Excuse me. The totalitarian political government that rules over Estrip One and Oceania, part of the Oceania Republic to which he works. Despite being a party member, he too is under surveillance like the rest of the people in Oceania. He gets into his apartment where there is a propaganda instrument called the telescreen, which does not only monitor every moment, but also spouts out party propaganda the whole day. In addition, there is a third place that also monitors the movement and gestures of everyone pushing Winston to turn his back against the telescreen when he is writing in his diary. From his window, he can see the Ministry of Truth, concerned with news, entertainment, education, and fine arts, where he works. The other three important ministries include the Ministry of Peace, which engages war, and the Ministry of Love, which maintains law and order. And the Ministry of Plenty, responsible for economic affairs. The official language in Oceania is Newspeak, and the party urges its people to alter historical records to match the party official version, or what the party wants the people to know. Everything is done, said, and made to appear to the glory of the party and Big Brother. Ironically, the party's slogans are: war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. The most dreaded of all the ministries is in the Ministry of Love, which is at the center of the inner party's loathsome activities. The citizens of Oceania lack even the freedom to get what they want for personal satisfaction. The very poor people of London are not monitored by the party's machinery because they do not constitute any danger to the ruling class. They are referred to as the pros. The pros, as they are called, are so poor that they are insignificant for the regime to waste resources to monitor them. Winston writes in his diary, although he knows that this constitutes rebellion, he passes his time to write about the films that he had watched and his lust for the dark-haired girl who works at the fiction department at the Ministry of Truth. He also thinks about O'Brien, a man he is sure to be an enemy of the party. They usually have 2 minutes hate, which is an assembly in which party orators provoke the populace and party sympathizers into a frenzy of hate against those considered as enemies of Oceania. And the greatest enemy of Oceania is no one else but Emmanuel Goldstein. Winston Smith hates Big Brother, and he notices the same feeling in O'Brien's eyes. Before he realizes what is in his innermost subconscious, Winston has already written on half of the paper, "Down with Big Brother." He has just committed what is known in Oceania as thought crime, which is the most unpardonable crime in the country. He is conscious that at any moment the thought police will come after him, and there is a knock at the door which scares him to death. The first chapter introduces one of the main characters so that the reader can get acquainted with them and their plight. The chapter also introduces the main themes, including the harsh and oppressive world in which Winston Smith lives. It is therefore from Winston Smith's point of view or perspective that the reader fully grasps the brutal physical and psychological cruelties that is wrought upon the people by their own regime or government. The author's preoccupation is to show how the regime uses dehumanizing and frightful techniques to control its people. He also wants to show the extent of control which the regime can exert on the people. Lastly, he wants to show how the totalitarian regime has absolute power and can put in enormous resources to control the people's way of life, thought, and reaction, rather than to invest it in their welfare. Consequently, Orwell presents a protagonist who in all his life has been controlled by the same party, but he has reached the point of no return, rebellion, and the search for freedom. At this moment, Winston Smith damns the consequences of his actions, knowing fully well that his life may be in danger. The inhabitants of Strip 1 know about the benefits of freedom. They have long been free, but the thought of it is alien and shocking. The act of self-expression alone is an unpardonable crime. Then the desire and action to be free will be heretical and merits the cruelest form of death. Orwell highlights the extent to which the government can go to control its citizens through the telescreens in their homes. The party is omniscient, and the fright that grips Winston when he realizes what he has written down illustrates the efficiency of the party's monitoring techniques. The writing of the diary is Winston's fact of first overt act of rebellion and his desire to break free from the party's possessive nature. Winston's frustration and hatred for the party control has been building up from within and maybe all his life. It should be noted that the day of the writing down with Big Brother only represents a day that the hatred had found an outlet of expression, and he knows that there are daring consequences. His expressive and rebellious action singles him from the mass that sheepishly believes, adheres, and supports the humanless regime. He begins to question the rationale of such strict control and monitoring, whereas the others do not find the party's contradiction and actions problematic. Winston's views himself as an entity different from the state, and his writing in the diary makes him a thought crime criminal. He considers himself doomed from the outset because thought crime was not just a thing that could be concealed forever. Sooner or later, they were bound to get you. One of the main issues raised in this novel and at this moment is the government's use of psychological manipulation and the physical monitoring in order to maintain its power. Winston's grasping at the freedom illustrates that the citizens do not have control even of their own minds. The telescreen blurs their minds with propaganda, touting the greatness of Oceania and the success of the ruling party. In addition, they are afraid to react like robots, to act like robots. The 2 minutes hate towards imaginary enemies of Oceania. The government also exposes its dishonesty, as seen in the contradiction of the names and functions of each of the ministries. The totalitarian government has succeeded a complete manipulation to break down the independence of the individual's mind and replaces it with fear and faith in the party. Also, worthy of note is the decay by describing the setting of gritty dust and the hallway smelling of boiled cabbage and old rag mats, and elevators not working, and electric current that is turned off during daylight hours. The other main characters introduced are Winston Smith, Julia, O'Brien, Emmanuel Goldstein. Like Winston, O'Brien also has the same feeling, or pretends to have the same feeling towards Big Brother, and Goldstein has turned out to become a staunch enemy or opposition to Big Brother. Crucial to manipulating the language and information that individuals receive is doublethink and newspeak. Doublethink is holding on to two opinions simultaneously and believing in them at the same time. The three slogans of the party are clear examples of doublethink because it requires using logic against logic or suspending disbelief in contradiction. Victory Mansion is contradictory to the reality of what the building really is. Big Brother's countenance purposefully mirrors Stalin and his pseudo-omnipresence illustrated by the posters. The inscription below carries a meaning, a feeling of an evil environment. Orwell arouses the reader by portraying the bureaucracy and the political structure in Oceania.